Welcome back. So still on complex number. Now we're going to graphical representation of complex number. Graphical representation of complex number. Now, how do you represent your complex number in form of on a graph? How do you represent it on a graph? Now, the real number takes the what? The real number takes the horizontal axis. You know what we mean by horizontal axis now? That's the x-axis, right? The real number takes the horizontal axis. You know, this is horizontal. So that is the x-axis. Why the imaginary takes the what? The vertical axis. That's the what? Y-axis. The imaginary takes the vertical axis. That is y-axis. For example, now we are given that we have a complex number z equals to x plus iy. Don't forget this is the real part, why this is the imaginary part, right? Now, how do you now represent it on a graph? This is how you do it. Now, let's draw our axis first. Let's draw our axis. This is the y-axis, right? So this is the y-axis, why this is the what? X-axis, right? Now, we want to represent this on a graph, right? So now, this is the real number. This x is the real part, right? So it is the real number. And where do we say the x is always? It is always on the what? On the horizontal. Where is our horizontal? This is our horizontal, which is the what? X-axis. So let's just say it is here. You know it does not have value, so let's just put it here. So let's say it is here. Why the imaginary? Which one is our imaginary? That's the y. The one carrying your eye is the imaginary, which is y. And where do we say the imaginary is always on? Is always on the vertical axis. And where's our vertical? This is the vertical. So let's just put it here. So where the both of them meet, let's just trace it. You will not trace it. Then we trace it down. So this is where they meet. So this is how you represent what? Complex number on a graph. Do you understand? So this is the graphical representation of complex number. Now, moving to this example, they say represent the following on the graph. Now, we are given z1 equals to minus 2 plus 3i and z2 equals to what? 3 minus 2i. How do you represent it on a graph? Now, this is how we do it. Let's draw our axis first, right? That's the first thing, to draw your axis. So, this is our x-axis. Why this is our what? Y-axis. Now, let's pick for z1 first. Let's pick for z1. Z1 says minus 2 plus 3i. The minus 2 is what? Is the real part. Why the 3i is the what? Is the imaginary part, right? Now, don't forget the real part is always on the horizontal, right? So this minus 2 will be on where? On the horizontal. Now, will it be on the positive side of the x or the negative side? It will be on the negative side because it is minus 2. Do you understand? It is on the negative side. So let's just do I service, which is, let's just say our minus 2 is here, right? Or let's just put it here, minus 2. Do you understand? The real part is the minus 2, but it will not be, you know, this is the positive x-axis, why this is the negative x-axis. So it will be on this side. Yeah. Now, the 3, what is it? Is plus 3i, right? So that's the imaginary and is on the what? Y-axis, the vertical axis. So that's plus 3. So that's, is it on the positive side or the negative side of y? So it's on the positive side because it's plus 3. So it will be on this side. So let's just put it here, 3. Right? So let's just put it here, 3. Now, when you trace it, where the both of them meet, when you trace this up, when you trace it, they both meet here, right? So they both meet here. Now, let's go for the second complex number, z2, right? Now, z2, we have 3 minus 2i. 3 is where? 3 is the real part, is the real number, right? So it's on the x-axis, right? That is on the x-axis, that's the vertical. Now, will it be on the negative x-axis or the positive x-axis? So it will be on the positive x-axis because it is 3 plus 3. So let's just put it here. Do you understand? So let's just put it here. Now, the minus 2i is the imaginary, right? So the imaginary part is minus 2. So where will it be? Is it on the positive y-axis or the negative y-axis? So it will be on the negative y-axis, which is down, right? So that will be this part, minus 2. So let's just put it here, minus 2. Do you understand? So when you trace it, where the both of them meet? So they both meet here. So this is our complex number z1. Why this is our complex number what? Z2. So when you trace them together, hey, don't mind my don't mind my line. Oh. Right? But you shall understand, even if my line is not straight, right? You shall understand. So this is just, I'm just trying to give you a knowledge of how you represent complex number on a graph. Do you understand? So it might not be accurate or it might not be on a straight line actually, but these are just figures that are just brought from the head. So please don't forget that if you don't understand, reach out to me, send me a direct message. I'm always willing to explain better. Thank you.